Alaska and the Soviet Union. And the first battle we got into was at Attu. Attu was way out on the end of the string. The string must have been 500 miles long. And Attu was one way out on the end. And Attu was it was a rough battle for the Marines. There wasn't much to it for the Navy because there was no ships up there, and they didn't have any shore guns to fire at us. So mainly what we did was sweep for mines and stay in front of the troops when they landed. But the troops had it rough on Attu because of the cold weather, and they got frostbite and all these sorts of things. It was a pretty rough fight. The next battle schedule was at Kiska, which was between Attu and Alaska. We had jumped around Kiska. That's the only two places that Japs had invaded. And so we took Attu first, and then came Kiska. Well, we trained and we did everything to battle at Kiska. We went in there with the ships, and they lobbed shells over there on the beach for all day long. Then the troops, they got in their boats and headed to the beach. And when they got over there, there wasn't a Jap on the island. And that old tundra, which is a soft material, probably 50 feet deep, covered all over the island. The shells, a lot of them wouldn't explode, they just go down in there. I guess they're still up there. And they did find a dog on the island that was left there by the Japs, and they found a coffee pot with warm coffee in it. So the Japs had taken off they had barely gotten out of there when we came in. The way they could do that and get away with it was that there's such a heavy fog that hung over those islands all the time. And so the Japs came in and landed and took the island, and then when they decided to give it up, they left, and our troops didn't know they were gone. But we stayed up there then, in and out of Kiska and Attu patrolling, and they were supplying. We still had to patrol. We not only swept mines, but our main job we had was patrolling for submarines around our fleet when they'd be in motion with your weathermen and check the subs. And we were patrolling a ship while we were up there. We were patrolling a ship from Kiska over to Dutch Harbor. And we got out about 300 or 400 miles, and our ship caught fire. Oil line. We had 2 diesel engines on that ship, and an oil line over one of the engines ruptured, and the oil caught fire. And the engine was running, it kept pumping oil, and the oil kept burning. And the ship we were patrolling for was had to lay by, that is, circle around. And it was a pretty dangerous situation because we weren't able to protect the subs, and we were supposed to protect that ship. But while it was burning, the ship came over and used their water hose to help us fight the fire. when we got the fire put out, they, we had one engine out, with one engine running. But they gave us enough power that we could get back to the base. And we got back. One or two interesting things that happened up in that area was we were patrolling one time way out, and we contacted a sub, and we dropped depth charges all over him for about 2 hours. We thought he was laying on the bottom. And in a few minutes, a Jeep tire floated to the surface. And we knew it was one of our ships that had been sunk before and had a Jeep on it forward, and we blasted one of the tires off of it. And it came floating up. And another interesting thing for me that happened was we went out for several days on a patrol from Kiska. No, from Adak, Alaska. That was another island up there that we had fortified and we had troops on. And I had we were out 2 or 3 days, and I had a appendicitis attack. And that wasn't very pleasant because there wasn't a doctor on our ship. And so all we had was a yeoman who was had some training.
Was his training as good as your radio training?
He was a health person. He'd give us pills and stuff.
She means, was he trained in his field as much as you were in your radio?
Probably about the same. But anyway, when we came back into Adak, I went to the captain and I told him, I said, Captain, I want to go on the beach and I want to get my appendix taken out. Because I couldn't go back out comfortably with facing that kind of thing. So anyway, he said okay, and he transferred me to the beach, and I loaded up my gear and took it on my shoulder. It weighed about 100 pounds, and I went over on the beach, and I had to walk a half a mile to the hospital, and I walked up that mountain and walked in, and they asked me what I wanted, and I said I want my appendix out. So they lined me up and took my appendix out. And I almost missed my ship because while I was in the hospital, they got orders to go to Pearl Harbor. And but they pulled back into the base, and I transferred back home. See, they had been short one man, and that meant the other 2 fellows had to go around the clock pretty well. But I got back on, I had my appendix out, and I wasn't worried anymore. And we headed for Honolulu. And I think that's about all the interesting things that happened up there. But anyway, I had let my beard grow, and on the way to Pearl Harbor, every mile we'd go, it'd get a little warmer. About 2 or 3 days out of Pearl Harbor, that beard got itching, and I had to get that thing off. And
how long was it?
pretty long, 3 or 4 inches. That was to keep me warm when I was up in the Aleutians coast. It was pretty cold. Another thing in the Aleutians that I forgot about was that there was being a radioman, taking messages was pretty important. That's what you was there for. And when the aurora borealis would come in, our antennas on the ship would light up with a ball of fire from one end to the other. And you couldn't get a message through that mess. Sometimes we'd go 12 hours without being able to hear a message coming through. And that was my first experience of seeing Borealis and seeing what it could do to an antenna stretched across the ship. But anyway, when I go into Pearl Harbor, I had to get my beard off. And it was real interesting because we didn't have any fresh water on our ship. We had to bathe and everything in salt water. And you can imagine the difficulty I had cutting 3-inch beard off my face with a straight razor. Didn't have no safety razor, we had straight razors. And in cold salt water. We did have a saltwater soap, but it wouldn't lather. If you took a bath with it, it wouldn't lather. It would. So we headed for Pearl Harbor, and we checked in there, and we got there just in time to become a part of the formation of a fleet to attack an island called Kwajalein. The Pacific was divided into 2 groups, the South Pacific and the Central Pacific. And we had moved into the Central Pacific area, and Kwajalein was in that area. And so we were formed up to attack Kwajalein. That was the most amazing thing I had ever seen, old country boy out there. Every which way you looked was nothing but ships on our ride, all directions, nothing but ships. And we headed down there to take a little while, and it wasn't 200 yards across, and probably a half a mile long. It was an atoll. You know what an atoll is?
I don't.
Well, down in the South Pacific, they have atolls. And it's where a big ring, like the top of a mountain, has been blown off. And all around that ring, there will be land that will be just about at water level. And these things may be 30 or 40 miles across. And if you can get into them, with a ship, you can be in pretty calm water and be still, and nobody can attack you submarines can't attack you because you're inside the atoll. Kwajalein was an atoll, and we had to attack it, and we went through the opening of the atoll and got inside to make our attack. And that's the first real battle I was ever in, and it was somewhat exciting because of the noise and the way they landed those boys. We had to sweep for mines ahead of the landing troops. We got in close enough to the beach to see some of the fighting and all this sort of thing. And it was sort of exciting because it was our first real battle up in the Aleutians. That was entirely different. But anyway, that was my first real battle. Well, I can't remember anything very interesting happening at that one. But the next one we got into, that came right after that, wasn't long, a couple of months, seemed like. We formed up to attack an island, an atoll called Eniwetok. And it was several hundred miles on toward Japan from Kwajalein. And I thought they had a lot of ships in Kwajalein, but the fleet we took to Eniwetok was, I don't know how in the world that they could figure they needed as many ships as they had to take those little places we were taking. There wasn't anything to them except a little piece of land now sticking up out of the water.
Who lived on those islands?
The Japs were on them, but the natives were there too. And when we finished our battle, there wasn't a tree left standing on them islands. There wasn't nothing left. So they're shooting them from both sides. And those old palm trees, I think the ratio of kill at those islands was about 20 to 1 in favor of us. We killed about 20 Japs to every American they killed in both those battles. I don't remember much interest in any we taught. So we came back from there. It only took, it took less than a week to take both of them. I mean, each one of them. Didn't take long. We'd go in there and we'd lob the guns over there and the next morning we'd be flying aircraft off the island. That's how fast we'd get in there. I do remember listening on the radio when some of the folks on the beach were talking and they were asking to form up a firing squad. So I don't know whether it was an American that had deserted or some reason they don't usually kill an enemy, but it was a firing squad. That was about the only thing unusual there.
Maybe they caught a defector.
Might have been. Might have been a defector. So then we formed up to take any we talk, and we took it and had the same similar situation. The only problem with either one of them was that you never could really tell what moment some sub might shoot a round into you. But anyway, we went on. Our next operation was, and I don't know the time. I know a year would pass, and a half a year, and 3 months, and things between battles. But our next operation was at Saipan. Saipan was way out. I mean, it was, when we moved to Saipan, we were over in enemy territory. We were not too far from the Philippine Islands. Now you're talking about a battle on the ocean. You sure couldn't see the horizon without ships when we went into Saipan. We went in and swept the beaches in front of the troops again, and we acted as a patrol around the fleet when it was going, like we always did. We'd be on the outside, looking for subs. And so we attacked Saipan, and that was sort of late in the war, really, because while we were attacking Saipan, there was an enemy freighter that came over the horizon, headed for Saipan, and the fellows on that ship didn't even know we were attacking Saipan. And they ran up there and sank him, got him out of the way pretty fast. And at Saipan, we got into the edge of the Battle of the Philippines. Our ship was, Saipan and Tinian were 2 islands separated by 3 miles, maybe. And it was straight in between them. And we were given the job of patrolling in that area. When the Battle of the Philippines took place, it spread all the way to, we had Jap planes in our area. Our ship was strafed between, while we were patrolling between the Saipan and Tinian. And that was sort of interesting. Then we were given patrol duty on the back side of Saipan. And there was a big mountain cliff between us and the home base, home ship. And that's when I almost got in trouble. Because we had a little FM radio. First one I ever saw, ever heard of. We had picked it up when we went back to get our ship when it burned, and we went back to Washington State to get our ship repaired, and they put a little FM radio on. FM radio was only, the signal would only go straight. It would not bounce like our other radio would bounce off the ionosphere. We could talk a long ways, and we could talk over mountains and everything with our regular radio. But on the FM radio, it was line of sight. Anything that you couldn't see, you couldn't talk to. So we got on the back side of that island, and I don't know whether I'd been seasick. I stayed seasick, but I don't know whether. Anyway, I wasn't in a good mood. And the captain called down to the radio shack and told me to come up and fix that FM radio. And I went up there, and the FM radio sounded good, and it was working. Couldn't talk to nobody, but it sounded good. It had a noise that he knew it was working. And I told him it was all right. I went on back down there. He tried to use it again, and he couldn't get nobody. And he called me and told me to come back up there and fix it. I went back up there and checked it, and it was sounding good. And I said, Captain, I said, your problem is we're behind this big cliff, and the ship you're trying to talk to is on the other side of the island. And this thing won't go through that cliff. And he made some crazy remark to me. And I slammed down the receiver, and I told him, I said, Captain, if you want this thing fixed, you fix it yourself. And so I headed on back down the stairway to my radio shack. I heard him yell out to the officer of the deck to arrest that man, put him in the brig. Well, the first place we didn't have no brig. But anyway, I went on about my business, and that's all I ever heard from him. But while we were patrolling the backside of Saipan to pick up downed flyers. They had already started bombing Japan. And it would come off, they had an airway there that it would come off of, and the planes couldn't get enough speed when they were loaded, just barely could make it. When they come off that cliff, which was a couple 100 feet high, they'd come off of it, and then they'd sink down like this, and just over the water. And some of them wouldn't make it. And our job was to stay around them, and if one crashed to something, try to pick them up. Well, while we were around there, a Jap plane got shot down, and the pilot fell near us. And that That's as close as I ever came to a Jap, because we rescued him. And brought him on board. And when we went back around to the other side where,
That was y'all's first prisoner of war?
yeah, we went back around to the other side where the fleet was. Captain sent a guard, a couple of guards to take the man over, turn him over to the Marines. When he got over there, walked in, told the Marines they had a Jap for him. They said, well, what in the hell have you done bringing us a Jap? We're over here trying to kill everyone. But anyway, while we were there at Saipan, another interesting thing happened. We were on the north side of Saipan, I think. Directions were hard to figure, but anyway, I thought it was north. There was a large cliff there, and the war battle was just about over. And the natives began to commit suicide, jumping off that cliff into the water. And they would throw their family off, and then they would jump off. And we were patrolling off that beach. And those those natives were floating all around our ship in the water. Men, women, children, and everything.
Dead?
Yep. And we could see them jumping. And we could see them sometimes push one on. But I learned something there that I never knew before, never forgotten either. A woman dead in the water floats face down. A man floats face up. Very seldom did we ever see one that didn't hold true with. Maybe sometime if a wave would turn them the other way. But 99% of them, that was the way it was.
Why was that?
I don't know. We went on back on the other side of the island where our base was. Wasn't long before orders came to take the other island called Tinian. And we started invading Tinian. The plan for the invasion was that all the ships would go to the southern end of Tinian, and we would blast the island at the southern end, and then suddenly we would close down and head to the northern end and land on the northern end. The plan worked beautifully, because the Japs couldn't get up there as fast as we could travel with our ships. Except for one thing, they had big guns in the mountains up on the northern end, and they had dug them into caves and things, and they'd push them out to the front and shoot at our ships. Then they'd pull them back in where we couldn't see them. And on the invasion, I believe they had a cruiser and a battleship, knocked both of them out. So the commander called us. We were sweeping in near, and he told us to go right in next to the beach and see if we could attract the fire so they could see the smoke, so they could shoot the gun. And so we did. We went right in about 300 yards off the beach. And while we were in there, the only thing we saw to shoot at was an outhouse on the beach. And we blasted that outhouse. But no one on the ship except me and the captain knew that we were in that trying to get somebody to shoot at us. And because I had taken the message and I had delivered it to him.
That's about it.
just remember where I was, because I need to tell you about that.